Part two, American education sucks, or maybe all formal education sucks, or maybe only the schools that I've either taught in or been a student in suck. But believe me, it's everywhere that I've been, and I think I can tell you the reasons. One, most of the stuff that's taught has no purpose. It never had a purpose. There was never any reason why people should study literature in the abstract. Not literature that they wrote and expressed themselves in, or where they loved hearing other people express, and where they learned something about their own species by reading fiction that had to do with human beings, or by reading stuff that told them something about a topic in which they had some genuine curiosity. I mean, I love to go to plays written by Shaw, most of which were written in the 19th century. I go to small theaters. I like to see the actors from close. This is an enlivening experience. I like to hear the words. I like the way it's expressed. It feels good. It feels alive. And it feels like someone has done something that represents a real craft effort. This is not true of textbooks. It's not true of literature chosen because this is the literature that was used 200 years ago at Oxford. First of all, students are not going to read it. And second of all, they're going to be tested on it in such a way that the content will be important. And it's not the content of the story. It's the feel of the story. It's what's communicated emotionally, as well as the human ambiance that would be important. And if you don't get that, then you don't get anything. The kinds of courses that are worthless, probably the most worthless is history. Now, history is so pathetic. I mean, these poor, stupid bastards who want an academic life, and they don't know math and science or economics or anything quantitative, and they don't have artistic talent. They don't create things. They have no ideas. They go into history. History, it's just wonderful because it's a lot of stupid stories that are not true. One, they're not true, not because people are trying to lie. Partly it is that people are trying to lie. It's because people want to sell books. And so, you know, if you don't make it, you know, like a little fantasy, then it's not going to be of any good. And of course, people want to push their own culture and their own country, and so they make up really dumb shit. Now, the American Revolution, for example, actually had common people participating, rather than these guys with really tight pants who probably never had contact. Thomas Jefferson never had contact with an ordinary common human being that he didn't actually own or employ. The people who actually fought in Vermont and in New Hampshire and in Maine and who met in town meetings as equals. These were people whose names we don't know today, because they actually were common people who worked together and defeated the British long before the showcase, the battles that we make movies about. But the main thing about history is that it's the history of people. And never have I read a history book that had an actual person in it. I mean, there are no people in there. What they are is they're little cartoon characters. And they're lied about. I mean, Benjamin Franklin tried to end slavery. Benjamin Franklin used slaves more than any person in the North. And then when he was old, he wanted history to read that he wanted to end slavery. I mean, this was Mr. Spinner. This was Mr. Spin Doctor. I think what you have to do is understand that history is about human beings. And when you read this shit, if you recognize someone who in any way resembles a human being that you've known, then you're making stuff up. So, I did a brief paper on the psychological capital, the core psychological skills and abilities and personality and features of life. And I compared Thomas Jefferson, and I compared John Marshall. Marshall had done a lot of things, but what he's probably best known for, and he's not known by people in history books, is that he was the Chief Justice from 1801 through 1835. Marshall actually hung around bars and could talk to ordinary people. I mean, he actually had a sense of humor. And on one occasion, somebody buying a turkey outside, a turkey in the market early in the morning in Virginia. Do you know the capital of Virginia? Well, in the capital of Virginia. A young man felt it was beneath him to buy a turkey at the market and carry it all the way home. And he saw this slovenly dressed old man who was kind of sweaty and offered him 25 cents to carry it home for him. And the old man thought it was a pretty good offer. And so he picked up the turkey and he carried it down the street, walked behind the guy, and people were looking and laughing. This was the Chief Justice of the United States, who happens to have been a middle-aged man and to have walked 2 hours at a fast pace, fast walk, every morning for 2 hours in the woods. And then went to market and bullshitted with his buddies about politics. This was a sociable guy, and a guy with a sense of humor. So, you know, he thought it was a real lark to accept 25 cents from somebody who didn't know him and carry the bird for him. I mean, that's the kind of thing that made Marshall popular in his hometown.